Welcome back to Factorio Launch per second. Today we're at the lead and we're going to bring this online so that we can get the solder added into our components. And yes, I do have a bit of a cold, but that shouldn't stop us. So let's go, starting the galena or the lead ore, which is mixed with nickel, processing into the lead oxide. And through to where we use the nickel in a process combined with the lead plates, creating our lead plates with silver as a byproduct, and silver gets used over here, converted into silver plates. Although we're also getting some from the main factory at the moment, but once we use the backlog that we're creating over here, we'll then be able to move into using just the main part of, well, the intended formula, using the lead plates and the tin. It looks like a bit of the silver ore has actually gotten past all of our smart inserters. It's probably just the initial burst that was able to do that. So I guess we'll just have to clear it off, and well, we can't really use smart inserters because of the speed and volume that we want to be able to push through. So otherwise we could potentially have used smart inserters to separate out the silver ore directly at the point of origin, but as we're using express inserters, we can't really do that. So there we have it. That is our solder plates coming out, and let's just find a path to run the solder. Probably if we set up the processing down here for adding resin to the belt, keep the solder on one side, put resin on the other. That's what we need to actually make the solder, and maybe run the solder plates down this side of our existing belt structure. I think I need a coffee. Does coffee help colds? Probably not, but it's too nice to resist. Anyway, if we put in our usual underground up here somewhere, see how close we are to being able to connect up with our supply. And I might just be one row too high, actually. Yes, it does look like it. Maybe I need to drive this directly from the lead, the solder plates. We're keeping it underground to attend to the UPS, the updates per second. Being underground has less impact on that than overground belts, so that's why I use the underground to such a degree, if you're wondering. But we're still pretty close to 60. And there we go, we're getting our first solder plates through. The oil area just up here is where we'll bring heavy oil down, as that's one of the means to make our resin. Let's find a place to do this processing. Run a bit more underground, and down here roughly we can add the resin using our formulas. As you can see, there's one for using normal wood and one for using heavy oil. The total amount of heavy oil we're going to use this way is probably not that high. Just checking how our light oil's going. It seems like the light is at the top there's quite a lot of it, but at the bottom it seems to be struggling. So if we make another pathway here that loops down to the bottom, that should help get some of the light down to the bottom part of the pumps filling up the barrels. And we can probably do the same thing here for the petroleum. It's probably got the same issue. Even though we inserted that extra line last time, probably even more is a good idea. So this one will loop all the way to the bottom. We are almost there. Not quite. Just one more. The throughput of pipes is dependent on the number of actual pipe segments, and the underground pipes only count as one, so there's a big advantage in using undergrounds as far as possible to link up your pipes. Not just for the advantages in being able to walk through it. I am a bit concerned about the number of pumps here though that I've got. I may need to expand the number of parallel pumps just to get the throughput at the level that it needs to be. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. We need to set up the resin now. And I think I'll put the wood process first. We need a assembly plant, so let's put in our assembly plant. Maybe actually we'll start this a little bit higher. One for the wood processing and one for the heavy oil processing into resin. We'll obviously have to move the underground belt a bit higher. Run it from there. A little bit of overground belt that we can add the resin to the other side using the express nair inserters. We're going to need to make some more fast nair inserters. What are we missing? Let's make that. Looks like it's iron plate. Let's order in some more iron plate while we wait on that. Let's set up the recipe. So this one is resin from wood, and this one, right, the oil we can't actually make in an assembly machine. We'll need a chemical plant. I guess that makes sense because chemical plants have their liquid inputs. So there we go, we can set up the resin from heavy oil, and God modules, of course. Absolutely imperative. Here's our nair, whoops, we need express nair inserters. Let's quickly set them up. 6 of them in total. And the only ingredient for the wood-based resin is wood. So let's put up a requester chest, get our supply of wood coming through. And I guess we might as well get as much as reasonably possible. An express inserter in. And some power. One medium Mark IV pole should do. And now we can put out our express nair inserters, and there you have, we now have the resin on the other side of the belt. We just need to connect up some heavy oil. Using the blue pipes, of course, for the higher throughput. And undergrounds to ensure that we use as few pipe segments as possible. Not actually sure how many other products we need the heavy oil for, but I'll just leave that connection in for the time being. Right. We're probably not actually getting much heavy oil at all at the moment, but never mind. We have a lot of wood. So, this is where the first solder needs to come down. It's just the solder plate and the resin. If we use another underground up to about here where we can run a splitter, and then an underground back to, just direct the flow down, and an underground back to where the full belt is. It should be, we might have to change the direction of the underground and this one as well. And there we have it, the solder supplied. Now, just making sure that we can get the resources off the underground belt fast enough. We also have the issue over here, the main board. Let's just put some power on so that we can see. You have to put in another pole just to connect up to the power, and it looks alright, so I'll run with that. So yes, it looks like it fills up all of the solder plate first and then picks up resin, and as soon as it gets one resin in, it makes a bajillion plates. A bajillion solder, rather. Anyway, not to worry. It's probably the better order for it to do it in. We also need solder over at this this line, so let's add that to our splitters. Underground to indicate where. It looks like we will have room up here. Fit it in. Connect it up. And we probably have to fix the direction again. Yes, we do, and there you go. So, there's the first column. Just need to get this in 3 more times. Probably have to underground this belt of the wafers and plastic, is it? Of course, it fills up my inventory too much. We can give that to the robots to get rid of. And if these legs weren't quite so fast, picking up this last bit of plastic would be easy, but since it's not, you can laugh at my drunken attempts to pick it up. We'll get there eventually. There we go. Right, now let's put this into an underground belt. Here we go. And put down some undergrounds to copy this little mechanism. And there we go. One more at this end. Again, just put down the underground first. Get the direction right this time. Put in our trusty splitter. Connect up the supply and connect to the down. There we go. So let's just make a quick blueprint of this pattern. There we go, and we can stamp this down a couple of times to finish off the last two. Over a little bit, about there I think, and right at the end, about there. Now just add a couple of extra undergrounds to connect up the pieces. And some undergrounds heading down. Come on, robots. What are you waiting for? And hopefully when this is running, the supply will be enough, although it does look a little bit light at the moment. I guess if we have an issue when we're live and running at full capacity, I could always duplicate the sort of thing that I've done with the silicon, but it does seem to be filling up now fairly quickly. So that is the solder. Now, what else do we have? We need copper, tin, phenolic board, and the other is liquid, the ferric chloride solution. Well, we have the copper and tin right here, so just need to connect it up and send the product down. Let's run another underground. From up here somewhere. Yes, first of all we need to split off our product and make a little belt containing both of these two products, which is fairly straightforward to do given the amount of space that we have. Thanks, autosave. Here we go. And this one just needs to come over, make a little bit of a hole here in the copper line. That way we'll get copper on just one side. Whoops, went too far. No, there we, yep. Got it right in the end, just have to clear the copper. There we have it, a belt with both these two products. So now just connect it up with a long underground. And we can put the phenolic board on the other belt. Can only get to here. Maybe we'll use two, say to about there. Although if we do that, we'll be running through the bottom of the lead or the galena ore, so maybe actually we'll just come down to, we'll move the line down here instead. Probably makes a bit more sense. Now we'll keep it clear of the lead ore. Put in our trusty splitter and direct it down. Probably need to change direction again, do we? Yeah. There you have the tin and copper. Now we just need to supply this. Do we need it over here? No, it's actually gold that we need on this one. So this line just needs to come down 4 times then. And we'll just bring our supply across. Doesn't quite reach with one underground, but that's fine. Use a small amount of above ground belt. And we just need this twice more. It's a pretty simple formula. I might just manually do it rather than bother with the robots. Just to here. And again an underground across. Quick splitter. And a little bit of connecting belt. And just one more. And splitter. And there you have it. So we're getting very close. There's only a few products left to bring the module 1s, the speed module 1s and the electronic logic boards online for the rocket control unit. So yes, we're getting very close indeed. We'll have to bring down the sulfuric acid and the ferric chloride solution. I'll probably do that off camera to speed the process up a little bit, or at least to get it near and maybe just complete it at the beginning of the next episode. Hopefully we get enough sulfuric acid. Ferric chloride is sitting over there. Yeah, I'll connect it up and we can finish it at the start of the next episode. Anyway, thank you for watching. Looking forward to seeing you join us for the next one. That's all for now. Bye guys.